Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Today, I would like to invite all of you to listen to Matthew chapter 5, verses 1 through 9. So let's begin. And seeing the multitudes, he went up into a mountain. And when he was set, his disciples came unto him. And he opened his mouth and taught them, saying, Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are they which do hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. These are the words of God.
Thanks be to God.
And the Roman Empire extended an enormous amount of territory, what you and I would probably call all of the known Western world. And it covered most of Europe, it took in Egypt, and it even extended as far as England up to what got built by the Emperor Hadrian as Hadrian's Wall, trying to keep the Scots out. And in all of that, there was one emperor. And Roman emperors thought a great deal of themselves. They just thought they were pretty special. And they had an enormously successful propaganda campaign. So successful that 21 centuries later, you and I still recognize some of their names. Julius Caesar, Caesar Augustus, Hadrian, Tiberius, Caligula. All of these were Roman emperors. And we can still, if somebody says Nero to you, you might have to think a minute, but you can say he was the Roman emperor who fiddled while Rome burned. So that these Roman emperors really thought a lot of themselves, and they made sure that everybody else thought a lot of them too. In fact, they were so full of themselves that they adopted a title, the Son of God. Now, it wasn't a new title by any means. The old pharaohs of Egypt, 1,000 years before, had the same title. Pharaohs had always claimed to be divine. I am the Son of God, and you sort of picked whichever God it was that he was the son of. But the pharaohs claimed that same title, so at least to some extent, what the Roman emperors were doing was making sure that they were on the same playing field as everybody else who was important around them. I am the Son of God. That was how Roman emperors understood themselves. As a matter of fact, at one point during the Roman Empire, they began to build statues of the Roman Empire, of the Roman emperor, and they would put them in what you and I would call the center of the town square, in every village. And the idea was that if you were a loyal Roman citizen, that you would bow down and worship this statue because you were worshiping the Roman emperor. Now, as you might imagine, there were a lot of Christians who got in a lot of trouble because they were about to do that. But in the meantime, these Roman emperors who thought so much of themselves would call themselves the Son of God. Now, even some of this crept into the thinking of the Israelites. If you've ever read Psalm 2 very closely, you'll notice that it's a psalm about the king of Israel. And it starts out by calling him, you are the Son of God. Now the difference was that the Israelites had a very clear understanding that you might be king and we might call you the Son of God so that you rank equal with the pharaohs or whatever, but you are not divine. You are going to die one of these days, so don't get any funky ideas. You're a human. But the Roman emperors got thinking of themselves as divine beings. They were the sons of God. Now these sons of God basically had two goals in life. Goal number one was staying alive. Because if you were the Roman emperor, there was always somebody out to assassinate you. So the number one goal of every Roman emperor was to try and stay alive. They had an army, and they would make the army swear loyalty to them. They had a private guard, and that private guard would guard them. And they were miserably unsuccessful. There were very few Roman emperors who died of old age in bed. Most of them were assassinated, so that somebody else could be the Roman emperor and the Son of God. So the first goal of any Roman emperor was to try and stay alive. The second goal of any Roman emperor was to try and keep the peace. They would try and keep the peace. And they would try to keep the peace because it turns out that if there's peace and people are able to farm and raise animals and do business, then the taxes flow in. Okay, and if you're a Roman emperor, you're the one that the taxes are flowing in too. And so the Roman emperors did a lot of work to try and keep the peace, to the point that they called themselves the peacekeepers. One of the claims they could make, well, yes, I'm the Son of God because I'm a peacekeeper. Now, of course, their idea of peacekeeping was to build walls and to arm an army and to keep a private security force who were armed to the teeth, and basically to try and poison anybody who might be a rival for the throne. But if you consider that to be peace, then there you are. They were the peacemakers. They were the peacemakers, the sons of God. So here comes Jesus on the Sermon on the Mount. And he uses this lovely, lovely piece of irony. You and I miss it entirely. We're so used to Beatitudes. You know, we can just go, blessed are they, and run right down the list. But what Jesus was doing was thumbing his nose at the Roman emperor. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called, and yes, thank you, Brian, for reading from the version that says the children of God. The original says sons of God, and it does it on purpose because Jesus was thumbing his nose at the Roman emperor. He was thumbing his nose at the Roman emperor because what he's doing is he's laughing at the Roman emperor. He's laughing at the Roman emperor because that kind of peace doesn't last. If you're trying to enforce peace by the sword, Jesus knew perfectly well that ain't going to go anywhere. The Egyptian empire is gone. And all the pharaohs are dead and buried, except periodically we dig one up. All of the Roman emperors, we may have remembered their names, but they're all dead and gone, as is the Roman Empire. And Jesus knew perfectly well. In fact, he tried to tell his disciples, if you live by the sword, you are going to die by the sword. And so here's Jesus, making fun of the emperor. Oh, blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the sons of God. And Jesus is there to redefine what that means. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the sons and the daughters of God. And when you and I ascribe the title of Son of God to Jesus, we mean something entirely different than a Roman emperor or an Egyptian pharaoh would understand. And when Jesus talks about peace, he is not talking about the peace that comes from taxes or from armies or from walls. Jesus is talking about the kind of peace that means when people are hungry, he feeds them. Jesus is talking about the kind of peace that when people are sick, he heals them. Jesus is is talking about the kind of peace that when people are outcast and looked down on, that's where he visits. Jesus is talking about the kind of peace that when they come for him in the night and accuse him unjustly, he does not call down legions of God's army. And it's a different kind of peacemaker. Now, if you've looked at your bulletin so far this morning, you will have seen the names of the saints that we will be remembering who have died in this past year. And the word that Matthew uses at the beginning of each beatitude, blessed. Blessed is one of those words that dwarfs meaning. Because blessed means set aside. So that you can also use holy. Holy are the peacemakers, for they shall be called children of God. And the word holy can be translated sancta, or Santa, or saint. Holy are those who are peacemakers. Set aside are the peacemakers. Saints are the peacemakers. The whole idea of peace by a son of God in a secular sense even managed to trickle its way into American folklore. The Wild West was tamed by a gun that actually got the name Peacemaker. The Colt 45's nickname is the Peacemaker. But I doubt seriously that within the body of faith, that's going to fly anywhere. Because the peacemaker was not used solely by Wyatt Earp to keep the peace. It was also used by Billy the Kid and by Doc Holliday and by all the other gunslingers who were making trouble in the first place. So that when you and I talk about peacekeepers, you and I need to look at the names printed in our bulletin. Because those were a different kind of peacekeeper. Those people were the sorts of peacekeeper that worked behind the scenes. Those were the kinds of peacemakers who joined groups and who formed groups and who invited other groups. And most of the time, you and I may not think about the Garden Club as a peaceful group, but that's a peacekeeping group. Because if you're growing food, if you're growing flowers, it's hard to make wood. If you join the United Methodist Women and support the missions of the church, it's really tough to support anybody who's out there slinging a gun or trying to enforce by violence. It just doesn't happen. And those people that you see named before you, that was what they did. Some of those, I don't know if you've been to all the funerals, but half of their obituaries were taken up with the names of groups they joined and the names of groups that they ran. Because whether they understood it specifically or not, they were peacekeepers. They were peacemakers. And the way to make peace is to do it together. The way to make peace is to do it together. That's why Jesus called his disciples to him to teach them. That's why he spoke to the crowds on the mountain to teach them. Blessed are the peacemakers, the real peacemakers. For they shall be called the sons and daughters of God. That's who we are. You and I are the children of God who are given the charge of Jesus Christ himself. And so we celebrate these people. Those who have gone before us, who have gone to their reward, because when they arrived at the gate, somebody said, "Oh, look. Oh, look. Look there. Oh, look. It's one of the children of God." are those peacemakers, and may their memory be blessed to us as well. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.